Hello, everyone, and good evening. My name is Dwayne Kimball, owner and founder of KMD 89, VA Claims Consulting, Leave No Vet Behind. And also, I am a United States Army veteran. Thanks for joining me this evening. Before we get into today's video, just want to share a couple of things. One, just as a quick disclaimer, KMD 89 Consulting, we do not provide legal or medical advice. We only educate the veteran on the VA disability compensation claims process, so they may be able to maximize their benefits. I get a lot of questions asking me, should I do this? Should I do that? Those questions I would not ask. I would educate you, and then you have to make that decision on how you want to proceed with your claim. Okay. Also, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. My Facebook business group is KMD89 VA Claims Consulting, and my Facebook Veterans group is KMD. I'm sorry, KMD Direct Service Connection. I do apologize. So you can follow me there. We do provide a lot of information, upcoming information, or on events and stuff like that. So I just wanted to make sure when I created that event, I wanted a platform where veterans can interact, because a lot of veterans claims, all their claims are a little bit different. So we can share things and learn and be educated from one another. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna go over some videos, not videos, but content that I previously uploaded to YouTube. But most importantly, I want to talk about some things that I've been hearing from vets. And I think you want to hear these things as well. It's a lot of inconsistencies amongst the RVSRs at the VA. So I want to share that with you. So if you're still in that claim process, have a loved one or a friend, you can share some of this information. Okay. So we got about 26 people in here. Make sure we get these likes up. And also, you probably heard me talk about this in some of my previous YouTube videos. I am hosting a live in-person event here in the Tampa area on August 21st from 9 a.m. to noon. It's on my website. If you go to our website, you can look at the information. So I'll just put it down there for you down below. That way you can go there and you can see. Now this is an in-person event. So for those of you that may not have been watching the news, Florida has an uptick in the COVID-19 cases. I was trying to get it to 50 people. I dropped it down to 30. And now my team and I, we're going to be discussing tomorrow if we're going to do it in person, because we don't want to be congested in a room and subject anyone to this deadly virus. Okay. If that is the case, I will do a short YouTube video and also on Facebook. Please check with my on my website. I am going to open it up nationwide. So I will be doing it by Zoom. Okay. But just as a couple of things, when you register, if that happens and you register, you need to register with your name. If you have an online handle like Locomotive123, you will not be let in the room. If you don't want to share your video, you will not be let in the room. Okay. So just keep that in mind, but also be on the lookout. Some things we're going to be talking about. We're going to do a deep dive in the 5 ways of service connection. Did a video on that as well. We're going to talk about in the training 5 ways of the importance of an intent to file, 5 ways of service connection, PTSD stressors, combat, non-combat, diagnostic codes. I even have a little fun quiz, and then I'm going to be sharing some tips to my VA claim success. So it's going to be about 2 or 3 hours long, but I will leave time for some questions. And most importantly, this event is free. Normally it's a paid event, but this one time I am doing it for free. Okay. So just be on the lookout. So if I do change it to where it's online, you want to make sure you get signed up, and you get signed up early. Okay. With that being said, I am going to be monitoring the chat window. Let's, if we can, please keep the chatter down. I would definitely appreciate it, because I'm going to try to get a lot of individuals' questions answered tonight in between some of the topics, but there is a little bit of lag time. So definitely let's keep the chatter down. Just run through. I see you, gun guy. How you doing? 503 ADV. Mr. Solomon, how you doing? Mr. Hicks from the DMV. Hey, how we doing? Mr. Crawford, hey, how you doing? We did share, you got some information there in the portal. Mr. Lewis, who else do we have here? Johnny Amos, David Brown, James, hey, how you doing? Mr. Murray, Mr. Brinson, Lonnie Brinson. There's an old blues singer from Mississippi. Last name is Brinson. I think that's his name. Defender One, hey, how we doing? Linda Lav. Okay, we'll get to those questions in a minute. So if we can just hold off on these questions for a sec, guys. I want to get to our first topic, and in between topics, I'll be bouncing them back over here to the chat window. Okay, so let's make sure we got 42 people in here. Hey, make sure we get these likes up. Definitely appreciate it. So the first topic we're going to talk about. I already talked about the event next Saturday. Some of the previous videos on YouTube that I did. One of the latest ones that I did was the parachute badge. Okay. Can you ask the VA to concede that you had a particular joint injury, let's just say the back, due to you being awarded the parachute badge, and even though you weren't treated in service? The answer to that question is yes. But again, it's wording, because if you just say I'm claiming a back condition, then they're going to go to your medical records and they're just going to look at that and they don't see anything. They'll more than likely deny the claim. So you have to be specific that you're claiming it due to you being awarded the parachute badge. I've seen this before. I've actually rated some of these cases and back when I was a rater, and I've seen veterans get service connected. But the number one thing in the video that I talked about that I'm pretty sure a lot of you can understand is, if you were a private, a PFC, or specialist, and you were in one of those gun-ho units, and your first sergeant and or the platoon sergeant, you went to sick call, and you wanted to go to sick call, and they were like, "Hey, just suck it up and drive on," and you didn't get it reported, but you were awarded the parachute badge. You could ask the VA to concede it, but you still have to be able to reasonably articulate that at your CMP exam. And keep in mind, a lot of these doctors are not veterans, so they don't understand what it takes to go to jump school. They don't understand what it takes if you're assigned to Fort Bragg at 82nd Airborne and you're doing continuous jumps, and you tweak your ankle or your knee or something like that, and you don't want to lose your jump status or lose that pay, jump pay. So you have to be able to explain that. I had a officer tell me my first CMP exam, he was a physician assistant, and I think it was a PA, and he was in a Ranger battalion. I was telling him about how, he said, "I see you went on sick call, but there's not a lot of reported treatment and service." And I was like, well, early on, when I was a private, the first sergeant and platoon sergeant tell you to suck it up. And he was like, "Oh, that doesn't happen." I'm like, well, you're an officer. So they're not going to come down and tell you to get back to work, leave sick call, and suck it up, or refuse you the ability to go and seek medical treatment. And so I think he understood that when I phrased it that way. But you have to still be able to explain that. So those are some things that I was talking about in the video. But again, if it's on your DD 214, you can't ask the VA to concede that you do have an injury and it was due to you being awarded the parachute badge. And you can also do it due to being awarded the aerosol badge. Now, that doesn't mean that they will request the exam. It's just going to depend on that person that's reviewing the case. But in my opinion, it's just my opinion, if they don't give you a CMP exam, I would think that would be a good grounds for a high-level review. Okay. Some of the other videos that I did a step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4 of the VA claims process. I did that last year, but I came back and I did some new videos. The first one I talked about the 5 ways of service connection. I gave some examples of claim conditions, and I drew lines to the 5 ways of service connection where they fail and kind of explain that. The second one was prescribed forms. And then I think the third one was the CMP exam. And then I talked about the difference between a notification letter and rating decisions. A lot of veterans don't know those are the notification letter is done by the VSR, and the rating decision is done by the RVSR. And if you look at the dates on the two, more than likely it's not the same date. Okay, the rating decision is done one day, and then depending on that day, the rating decision, the notification letter is done on one day, and then the rating decision is done prior. So the rating decision will have a later date than earlier date than the notification letter. But the most important piece about that, a lot of veterans, they look at the rating decision and the notification letter. They look at, oh, did I get service connected? How much money I'm getting? That's it. They don't look at the effective date. They don't look at nothing else but the money. I can understand that, but you also want to make sure that you look at the notification letter, because I get a lot of questions from I'm not Facebook, but on YouTube, asking me about educational benefits, healthcare benefits. Understand that the VA is comprised of many departments: loan guarantee, benefits, which we're talking about, healthcare, the cemetery, voc rehab, and the education department. So a lot of people say, hey, I got this question about education. I only, rated cases. I granted the Chapter 35, but then the education department handled that piece of it when veterans were applying for benefits for their dependents as it pertains to Chapter 35. So a lot of things that I'm talking about just pertains to the benefit side, service connection for conditions. The only thing that I do know about education is what I use or things I applied for my particular dependents. Okay. So though a lot of those questions, I won't be able to ask and answer because those regulations change and I don't keep up with them. So in that notification letter, if you are able to get permanent and total Chapter 35 benefits in that notification letter, and go look at that video where I explain the difference between a notification letter and rating decision, they'll put the number, 800 number, to the education department, because it's different than an 800 number to the benefits department. Okay. So definitely go back and look at those 2 videos. Again, a parachute badge, 4 videos on the VA claims process. And for those of you who just checked in, I just wanted to just reiterate, I'm trying to keep the chatter down in the chat window because I want to make sure I get everybody's questions answered, because sometimes I do get comments saying that, hey, I didn't get my question answered. And so I have to, I'm going back through the chat window. Okay, so we're going to open it up for a couple of questions. Mr. Solomon, hit the like button. He provides these videos for free. Hey, I definitely appreciate that. Linda, let's see. Let's just put it up here. Okay, here we go. I filed a supplemental claim for CF. Please say what that is. I'm thinking it's chronic fatigue, but I don't want to guess. From 2015, because VA lump fatigue with my 40% for fibromyalgia. After my primary care physician diagnosed me with fibromyalgia chronic fatigue, since I'm 100 for major depressive disorder with anxiety, is there any pyramiding? One would have to review that rating decision and the code sheet to see the diagnostic codes to answer that question. So I don't want to say that there is, but for a lot of you that do not know what pyramiding is basically if, the veteran is service connected, let's say 50% for PTSD, and another rater comes along and grants major depressive disorder at 50%. A mental is mental. So that would be pyramiding. Okay. But Linda, just, answer that question. More information will be needed, and one would have to review the rating decision along with the code sheet. Mr. Lewis. How you doing? What is deferred on your claims mean? How long do they take to get to a decision? Deferred is they should tell you in the rating decision why they deferred it. So they can't deny something and defer. If you get a rating decision, they were able to grant something, but then they deferred something else. So let's just say they granted PTSD at 50%, but the VSR didn't complete the development for your claim migraines. So they deferred that for further development. If the examiner failed to provide or information on that CMP exam for that particular condition, then they'll defer for an addendum for clarification or something like that. So that's what deferred mean. How long do they take to get a decision, Mr. Lewis? There's no default time. I've seen claims done in 2 days, and I've seen claims take a year and a half. It just depends. So there's no set time. Okay, we got 59 people. Let's make sure we get these likes up. Ms. Solomon, is there a 5-year rule for P&T? No, there is a 20-year rule. I did a video on it. Basically, what that means is if all your conditions, percentages have been service connected for 20 plus years, and the only way that they can change it or reduce it at that point if it's due to fraud. Okay, so if everything was done on up and up, there's no fraud, and let's just say you file your last claim or you open another claim for 100% P&T, and the VA say, "Oh, we made a mistake in granting you this benefit," as long as that percentage has been in effect longer than 20 years and it's not due to fraud, then that's their mistake. They just got to eat it. They can't do anything about it. I just brought on a new team member. She was my mentor at the VA. She just started last week. So we're going to do a YouTube live stream here, and she's going to talk about the protection rules. So definitely want to introduce her to all the subscribers. She actually trained me, and I considered her my mentor while I was at the VA. So we're definitely, I am super excited to have her on the team. She brings over 35 plus years at the VA. She trained a lot of raters. She worked in she worked in appeals. She worked in the quality department. She was a decision review officer, a rater. Man, she did it all. So we are super ecstatic to have her on the team. So we want to do, we're going to have her hopefully in the next week or two. We're going to have her on, and she's going to be talking about the different protection rules as it pertains to the years. Okay. Defender, I'm 51 with first year of diagnosed PTSD. When can I expect a future exam? It's going to depend on the rater when they set them up. It used to be like when I was rating, they would set them up like 5 years, and then they went to 24. I'm sorry. Yeah, 5 years, then it went to 24 months. So that's going to depend on the rater. Now, if you have a copy of your claims file, okay, get a copy of that. On the rating code sheet, it will show future exam. I think it's up in the top right-hand corner or something like that. And it'll have the month and year that they schedule it. On the rating decision, it'll just say, since there's a likelihood of improvement. But on the code sheet, it'll give you that month and year. Now, does it mean that they will order exam during that month and year? No. It could be, I've seen, routine futures exams get missed, and they may go 5 years, it could be longer. But you don't have to wait that long. If you had a private doctor and they had a DBQ, that would suffice. Okay. So, just keep in mind, you don't have to wait that long. Johnny, Myrtle Beach, Service Connected, South Carolina here. I'm sorry. Yeah, I used to go to Bike Week up there, and I would stay in North Myrtle Beach in the Cherry Grove section. Glad to have you. Mitch, listening in from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station tonight. Okay. Hey, how you doing, Mitch? My daughter, she's in the Air Force. She's in Space Force. She's at Buckley out in California. Claims Jedi Master. Man, that's an interesting name. I'm a Dro. If anyone needs help, there you go. Hey, Claims Jedi Master. Maybe since you're a Dro, I got a question for you. Why is it that VSRs schedule exams when veterans submit DBQs that are actionable and sufficient for the RVSR to rate? Okay. When I was a Raider, I looked at hundreds of them and I talked to veterans on numerous occasions. And that is a huge problem within the VA amongst the VSR ranks or individuals that are requesting exams. So, yeah, Claims Jedi Master, please. And I know I'm not calling you out or anything like that, but hopefully you can answer that question. Okay. Does SMCL, loss of use of both feet, and SMCL aid in attendance equal SMCR1? No. Uh, I always go to the M21 and I'll look. You can do a search for SMCR1. It'll tell you the requirements for all the SMCs. And then at the bottom, they have sometimes have the 38 CFR that you can go and review that as well. I still have my old SMC book somewhere that I had from training, but in there it breaks down all the requirements for that. Timothy, I was airborne. Can I do a claim for bilateral feet with plantar fasciitis? Think about you being on jump status, and again, you're asking the VA to concede that it happened. Especially if it's not in there. And then again, like I shared earlier, like when I went to that doctor and he was like, "Oh, that doesn't happen. You don't get nobody gets refused sick call." I'm like, "Okay, well, you're an officer. I was enlisted, so totally different." Okay. There we go. Claims Jedi. Plantar fasciitis is easy for Timothy. So again, Claims Jedi Master. Another question: if you were RVSR and an individual claim, plantar fasciitis due to them being awarded the parachute badge, would you request that CMP exam? Linda, okay. I'm just going to pop this up here. For loss of use of both feet, that means the added attendance will have to be for something else to be eligible for anything higher. That would be correct. Let's see. Nope, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to get through these, but a lot of people are asking questions. Okay, here we go. So, why do most VBA raters disregard intermediate connection with a nexus of sleep apnea secondary to low back pain? That I don't know. There's hundreds of raters. But again, a DBQ is required. And then secondly, is your nexus statement complete? So that training that I'm going to be doing next week, especially if I have it in person, I'm going to talk about, what information goes into a nexus statement. I, talk to a lot of veterans on a daily basis. I ask to see their nexus statement. They show it and it's missing a lot of information. And then they don't have a DBQ. How can a rater rate and they don't have the current residuals? Okay. So just keep that in mind. Mr. Canty, good evening. Thank you for helping veterans. Hey, I definitely appreciate it. I had a BVA hearing last week. The appeal is open for 90 days to submit new evidence. I have a nexus, but should I submit a benefit questionnaire? And what is the time frame for a decision? One, again, Jermaine, I don't tell veterans what they should or shouldn't do, but you got a nexus. If you were claiming, let's just say a back, what is this for? You didn't say what it was for. Let's just say it's for a back. You claim, you submit a nexus statement. What is your forward flexion? What is your extension? What is your left to right lateral rotation? Do you have do you have a diagnosis of bilateral lower extremity radiculopathy / peripheral neuropathy? If so, what is the decreased sensation? Do you have shooting pain? Do you have numbness? Do you have tingling? All those things on the DBQ and not necessarily listed, maybe not in the nexus statement. Ed Jedi Master, I just finished my, okay, so you're asking him that question. Can I please have a conversation with you? Have a claim back to 2002 and was just approved at 100% in 2001. Yeah, Riverbend, go to my website. You can sign up for a free consultation, 15-minute consultation. In that consultation, we only discuss the educational the services that we provide. We do live Q&A sessions every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can sign up for one of those. Those are listed on our website as well. Alex has submitted a supplemental claim with DBQ from private physician and other medical evidence, but the VA still requested me to attend CMP exam. Any thoughts? Yeah, Alex, I'm not going to answer that question right now, but in my next topic, that's one of the things I'm going to talk about, the inconsistencies. I just stated earlier, I asked a question to the DRO that's in here to try to get some feedback on that. So just bear with me, and I'm going to get into that right now. Okay, so the inconsistencies that I've been seeing with the VA. One, VSRs are still requesting CMP exams when veterans are submitting DBQs and/or nexus statements when they're actionable and sufficient. I talked about this in one of my recent previous videos, and what I've been seeing is veterans, the DBQ and nexus statement, or just the veteran comes in for increase. I've been seeing VSRs request exam anyway. The veterans are saying they're getting calls from QTC, LHI saying, hey, the VA's requested exam. They're like, hey, time out. Wait a minute. I've submitted an actionable DBQ. And some VSRs are sending it to the rater, and they are going ahead and granting the increase or whatever based on the evidence of record. In some of my old videos, I talk about that happened to me right before I retired from the VA. I claimed the increase in service-connected migraines. I get a call one day from QTC, want you to come in for exam. I was like, nah, not happening, because I don't want there to be any conflicting medical evidence in my VA claims folder. If I go to your doctor, they don't treat me. So how, they're only going off evidence in my claims folder, which my private doctor had looked at my VA claims folder, okay, on CD, and I didn't submit a lot of my private medical records as it pertains to my migraine. So my private doctor was privy to more information than that doctor that the VA wanted me to go see. I refused the exam, and I didn't go. 2 weeks later, I received a rating decision. Now, a lot of people ask me, should I go? Shouldn't I go? I'm not going to tell you if you should or you shouldn't. I tell you what I've been hearing from veterans, what I've been seeing with some of our clients, and what happened to me as it pertains to why I refused that exam. A VA employee jumped on, left a comment on that video where I said, can you refuse an exam? And they stated I was compounding to the problem, and we went back and forth, and I said, I am not. I am merely educating veterans. It happened to me, and I specifically asked them, well, sounds like you're a VA employee. Why would you do that to veterans? Why? The DBQ's out there for a reason. Now, I did a video back, I think, March 3rd or March 7th, where I stated that DBQs came back, but I felt that there was some biased information on the VA's part in that exam, because it asked a question, are you the veteran's treating physician? And that gets me into the next inconsistency that I've been seeing. Why would you ask that question? Because the CMP examiner is not your treating physician. CMP examiners are not your treating physician. So why would you hold the private doctor to a higher standard? So if you go see that person once, I had a DBQ done by a doctor I'd never seen before. But guess what I had? I had this. Well, I didn't have this. I had a bigger folder, which I'm not going to show, but it was everything that I sent to VA had all my information that was in my VA claims folder. And they were able to say they reviewed the exam. But what I've been seeing with that, a lot of raters are saying, well, you refused our exam. It doesn't show, your doctor doesn't state how long he or she has been treating you. and they just C&C, meaning they confirm to continue the 50 or 70%, which is totally wrong. Then they say, well, let us know when you're ready to go see one of our doctors. Why? Like I said, I had 4 CMP exams. 2 of those CMP examiners were horrible. They were horrible. The rater doesn't care that they were horrible. They're just looking at that information. And from then, I was like, you know what? I'm getting DBQs. I don't care. I'm not going back. This is just me. I'm not going back to another CMP exam, seeing somebody that don't treat me. Okay. And then that's when I started having success. So I've seen that. And raters are not putting in there a regulation, anything from 30 CFR about that if the DBQ is insufficient. They're just saying, your private doctor can't complete an exam. You're like, what are you talking about? They can't. As of March 1st, 2021, it changed. Now they can do it by video. But again, you want that doctor looking at this CD, okay? Because there's some information in that M21 as it pertains to what evidence was reviewed. So again, that's part of it being actionable and sufficient, okay? Let's see what else. Veterans are saying third-party contractors are harassing them to show up for exams. That happened to me. A representative from QTC literally told me on the phone, and this was, I think, maybe October 2018 or September 2018, your private doctor cannot complete a DBQ. And I went in person, but this is what this QTC examiner rep told me. And at that point, I told her, at the time I was still a rating specialist, and I told her what I used to do. I used to submit 2507 requests. That's a request from the regional office to the VA CMP exam department or QTC at LHI, asking them to request an exam. And I said, what you just told me was a flat out lie. And I told them exactly what I used to do or what I was doing at the time. And I got to thinking, if she was so bold to tell me that, how many other vets that don't work in the VA that she has told that? And they believed her and showed up for the exam and they got screwed. Okay. So that's another reason why you need to be educated on this. All right. So you have some raters rating, you have some VSRs not requesting exam when veterans submit DBQs and or with nexus statements that are actionable and sufficient, and the raters granting it. You have some not granting it and denying it, saying you refused the exam, but they're not saying why they didn't use the DBQ. Okay. And let's see what else. So there's a lot of inconsistencies there, and I think it just boils down to the regional office that's working. That it's just the regional office, and that that attitude of that particular regional office. When I first filed a claim, the regional office that had jurisdiction on my claim was the Atlanta regional office. Had a lot of problems with them. I just don't know. I didn't know how they were able to get away with what they were doing. There was multiple CUEs and a lot of rating decisions that I submitted. And finally, when I got to an appeal, I had all my evidence in line, and I shared that in other videos about how I was able to win everything that I went in for that appeal for. I didn't start seeing success until the St. Paul, Minnesota regional office, obtained jurisdiction over my claim. It was a little bit easier. They were a little bit more being an advocate for the vet than opposed to Atlanta regional office. Don't know if that's still the case, but I made sure that I had everything that I needed, meaning, all the information I submitted, like the DBQs and nexus statements, they were completed correctly, So at the end of the day, as veterans, we have to take ownership too. You got to get educated. It's just not all on the VA. I don't want to come off like I'm, bashing the VA, but we as veterans have to take accountability for our claim as well. Being educated, do not just sit back and say, oh, well, the VA has to do this or the VA has to do that. They're human. They make mistakes. They're on a quota. And somebody asked a question to a Claims Jedi Master, hey, what is your daily quota as a DRO? I'm curious. What is your daily quota as a DRO? How many points do you have to make in a day? How many production points do you have to make over a 2-week period? And also ask Jedi Master, if you don't make it, what happens? Okay, I'm curious. Let's see. I think, yeah, I just covered that. We'll get into some more questions. Yiller 43. I did a high level review for tinnitus. I was denied service connection, but favorite findings say I meet all the requirements for presumptive, but failed to claim 1 year after service. Could a personal statement help? It could. Again, more information needs to be looked at. Did you get a CMP exam? Do you have a copy of that CMP exam? It's going to be in your claim folder, CD. In the description section of all my videos, I list how I submitted my Privacy Act request / FOIA request to get a copy of my CD. Again, so if you were awarded the CMP exam, do you have a copy of it? If you were awarded a CMP exam, what's the negative opinion? Why did the doctor say, excuse me, why did the doctor state that your tinnitus wasn't due to service? If you had a CMP exam, were you able to reasonably articulate, you being exposed to acoustic trauma? A lot of veterans don't know what acoustic trauma is, okay? Steve, if I obtain a DBQ through a medical provider instead of a CMP exam, what is the proper way of submitting it to the VA? Just like any other claim, okay? When I submitted mine, I had a 526EZ. You got to have a prescribed form, not necessarily a 526EZ. If you're doing a supplemental, you need new evidence. That would be new evidence. But when I was submitting, when DBQs first came on board, I did the 526EZ, and I had the DBQ and or nexus statement if I was requesting service connection. Okay. I think my original claim, no rating was given, permanent time was finally approved. Okay. I think I already went over that. Let's see. Mr. Lee, I submitted a claim with 5 disabilities. I received a CMP exam for all but the acquired plus plans. Does that mean automatic denial? I submitted my evidence exam that says normal arch. Exit said, please, pest planners. Okay. I don't know. Don't know why they didn't request it. That happened to me. On my entrance exam, it showed moderate pest planners. In service, I complained of flat feet. And right when I got out, I had a current diagnosis. So I met the criteria to get to the CMP exam. I just needed the nexus. The Atlanta Regional Office, the rater just denied it. They didn't even request the exam. They were just like, we don't see it in service. When I got a copy of my medical records, guess what I see on the first page of my medical records? Moderate pest planners. And I even submitted, and I saw it had treatment in service, and I submitted a diagnosis after service. So I was asking, hey, at least at a minimum, give me a CMP exam. And they didn't do it. So I can't say it's automatic denial. For me, it was. It could get back. The other exams could come back. The rater could look at it and see, oh, wait a minute, we should have went out and requested an exam for this and do it. What I've been seeing happen, that hasn't been happening. I can't say why not, because there's, hundreds of raters out there, and I can't say why one individual rater does this or doesn't do that, okay? I will be filing for an increase on my 0% migraines and 0% depression. How long of VA treatment history should I have before I file? 6 months. There's no requirement. But again, with the inconsistencies I've been seeing amongst VA raters, when I file my claims, a lot of people say, I got to go get, treatment. I didn't. Some of the things I did have treatment for, some I didn't. That didn't prevent me from getting service connected. I don't think eventually I did win everything. It was just a hassle. It was a pure hassle. Just because, another rater in another regional office, wasn't doing their job. We all got trained, went to challenge training, got the same training, look at the same manuals, the 38 CFRs, and some raters, they just, let their personal feelings get involved. Yep, Mr. Lewis, Colorado, Buckley Air Force Base. Wait a minute. I'm trying to keep up with this. There we go. I don't have a CMP exam for sleep apnea secondary to urinary frequency and was awarded 50%. Don't really understand that, Mr. Gilbert. I don't have a CMP exam for sleep apnea secondary. Yeah, I'm not understanding that statement. Please clarify that for me. How much evidence do you need to have while in service for something to be service connected? I have stuff from when I was in, but was not. Again, it's going to come down to who looks at it. And then I've had examiners say, well, you only treated one time. Okay, well, that doesn't mean that it still didn't hurt. Again, it could have been, you were denied the ability to go on sick call. Some examiners, it's going to depend on the CMP examiner. Like I said, I had 4, 2 were just horrible. I'm sorry. They were just, it was just horrible. I don't have anything good to say about them, so I'm just going to leave that alone. But the other 2 that I had, they were really good. They wrote down exactly, they listened to what I had to say. They wrote stuff down, and it was a big help. How long are TDIU taking for VA to process? Have no clue. There's no correct answer there. I can't say it's 1 month, can't say it's 2 months. It's just going to depend on the workload for their regional office that you claim is being handled. Let's see. I didn't receive a CPAP, sleep apnea. Okay, still not understanding that. It's that time. Greetings, Mr. Kimball. Hey, how you doing? Lil Rock, Go Mob, Frat. There you go. You can see it in the back. There it is. The ultimate driven man. Go Mob. I have a CMP for GERD, secondary to mental health meds, but I didn't get a CMP for sleep apnea, secondary to depression. Does it mean sleep? No. Mr. Gilbert, it doesn't mean that it's denied until it's denied. Okay. But I will say this: when you get the rating decision, again, when the exam comes back from the GERD, hopefully, I'm not saying that it will, hopefully the RVSR say, oh, well, veteran claim is secondary, but we didn't get a medical opinion. Let us request it. But again, what I've been seeing, that hasn't been happening. I don't know why it is. Okay. There we got Don Free. How we doing? Thanks for the positive feedback. Don Free says Dwayne is great. I've used him for at least 2 claims filed and has surpassed all my expectations for receiving any type of VA rating. Yeah, I definitely appreciate that, Mr. Free. You took some of our educational courses. We have those listed on our website. A lot of other information. Mr. Free did provide a live testimonial. We have live testimonials on our website. I always encourage people to go out there to our website and look at those so they can, see some of the feedback from other veterans. You can Google our business. We have 60 plus 5-star ratings on, from individuals that took some of our educational training, was able to be successful. Okay, let's get back to comments. There he is, Mr. Jeffrey, STL in the house. You are welcome. Mr. Jeffrey, he was so kind as well to leave to do a live testimonial, but he did a live testimonial about our veteran town hall event. It's on our website. It's on our YouTube channel. Go check it out. He had a lot of good things to say. He went through a couple of the town hall events. Had a lot of good things to say. So definitely good to see you tonight, Mr. Jeffrey. Raiders are going to have to wake up if they don't want to do their job, go work someplace else. Veterans are suffering and need help. Some are very frustrated with the system and give up fighting. Ms. Thomas, thank you for sharing that frustration. And again, I don't want to bash all Raiders and say all Raiders were bad. I was in that position. And, it definitely is stressful. And I'm pretty sure the DRO decision review officer, that was a DRO, stressful as well due to the quota. Not all Raiders are bad. I think there are some, but that's anywhere. It's with any organization. But you are correct. I think there need to be more raters out there that are being more advocates for veterans. But again, veterans have to take ownership as well to get educated. You got to set that. Think about it as setting that VA employee up for success. Now, they are human. They do make mistakes. And there are some instances where they just blow through stuff that they should catch. But remember, that's just the human factor. Mr. Brown, I have a CMP exam August 17th. That's coming up at 40% primary. Total knee replacement 2018, left knee 10%, secondary on record to be replaced. Left shoulder 20% reattached scapula. More information, Mr. Brown, will have to be looked at. The disability breakdown letter. I put it in the description section of all of our videos of how I obtained mine. There you have every condition that your service connected for, the percentage, and the 4-digit diagnostic code. Okay. But again, when you get that diagnostic code, you can go to the 38 CFR, look at the rating schedule, look at that criteria. Hey, do you meet that criteria? Just don't think that you do, but do you meet it? Okay. And then figuring out how to get there. Okay. Mr. Reyes says, we got 78 people. Hey, let's make sure we get these likes up. We've got about another 15 minutes for questions. Let's see. Yeah, got another 15 minutes. Can a veteran request and be granted another regional office for claims? No, unless it is changed. Now, if you do a high-level review on there, it does ask, do you want this done at a different regional office? But I don't know what those regional offices were. I think when I was there, it was either St. Pete, Florida, or Seattle, Washington. But that was for a high-level review that you request that. Not all the time has it been granted, but yeah, there's something, no, because a lot of claims now, due to VBMS, that's the system they use to rate claims, anywhere from anybody that has access, any VA employee that has access can rate claims. You can have somebody working in the Washington, D.C. regional office rating a claim for a veteran from Arizona, okay? Yes, CMP exam, negative opinion, no acoustic damage. Have a copy of the exam, clearly stated the acoustic trauma, high-level review stated, met the requirement, time and service, combat vet, but failed to file first year. Well, it doesn't matter when you file. At the end of the day, the acoustic trauma, do you have ringing in the ears? Do you have a current diagnosis? Were you exposed to acoustic trauma? Was a positive opinion? Again, looking at what that doctor wrote, okay? And it sounds like if you had a CMP exam, negative opinion, what was the rationale? What the rationale is in the medical opinion, right underneath the medical opinion. Why did the doctor state that they felt that, you wasn't exposed to acoustic trauma? Why they provided the denial? Okay. That's all. If you have the rating decision, that's in there. Not the rating decision. If you have a copy of the CMP exam. Okay. Steve says, thank you very much, Dwayne. Hey, I appreciate it. I love doing this. And one of the reasons why I do this is several, but one of the reasons why I do this is because when I rated, it took 4 years for me to maximize my benefits. 4 years, and I was a rater. Think about that. I was rating claims. So I knew what evidence I needed to submit with my claim. So I made sure, let me get this, let me get that. And it still was tough. And there was a period of time where I started going to management and, they were just not helpful at all. And so once I retired, I knew I still wanted to work with vets in some type of capacity. I didn't want to become a claims agent. I could have took the test and passed it, but I wanted to be able to educate veterans, to give them the information they needed to be successful. Now, again, that doesn't mean I'm telling you how to. When people ask me, how do you, what should I do with it? Get educated. I'm not going to say you should do this or do that. Everybody's claim is different, and legally I can't do it, and I won't do it. So a lot of people ask me those questions in the comment section. Either I don't ask them or I'll just say, hey, get educated. Okay. But again, a lot of our clients, some of the ones that did did live testimonials, they speak very highly of our educational services. Okay. I think this is an educational service. We're talking about different things, and I get a lot of comments where veterans say, "Hey, I watched the majority of videos, and it helped me get over the hump to 100%, or it helped me get service connected for something that I've been getting denied for years." Okay, so Steve, definitely, you're very welcome. 503 ADVT. Thanks. VBA says same, but there is other injuries, broken neck, and PTSD. Okay. And the last thing that I want to share tonight was I challenge everybody to request a copy of your claims. I get a lot of questions. I'm like, do you have a copy of your claims folder, which has your CMP exam? Do you have a copy of the rating decision? And people will be like, no, I don't have none of that. How do you not have any of it? Okay, how can you expect to be successful in this process, especially if you're going on a high level review and you don't have a copy of this your VA claims folder showing what that rater or whomever is looking at? Okay, so I challenge everybody, and I always say, hey, leave me a comment. Let me know if you requested it. If you did, how long did it take to get it? One of my team members, they said it took him 4 months. Took me 11 months. So it's different. Okay. So I challenge everybody. But I just want to reiterate before I get back to the questions. Got about another 10 minutes. The inconsistencies. Don't know what it is. I'm still looking for that question that I asked Claims Jedi Master, just because I'm curious about the drone production points. How is that going? And why VSRs are still scheduling CMP exams when veterans have actionable evidence for the RVSR to rate with. So, just those inconsistencies that I've been seeing. So get educated. So if you happen to fall in that category, you could be able to react. You're able to react to it. Okay. See, Timothy says, I'm going for an increase for L spine. Can they lower me even if my back pain is worse? If you are at 10% for any joint, more than likely that 10% is for pain. Okay. Then you have to take that off the table. Looking at rating decision for the L spine, Timothy, and it'll tell you the requirement for the next hire. So if you're at 10%, okay, let's just say the L spine, the diagnostic code is 5237. Again, that's why it's important to get a copy of that disability breakdown letter. Where can you find how I got mine? In the description section. I don't know if I did put it in this video, but I'll go back and I'll put it in there if I didn't. But majority of my other videos, it's in there. If that diagnostic code is 5237, Google it, look for the general rating schedule criteria for the lumbar and the thoracolumbar and the neck. And you see if you're at 0 or 10%, it'll tell you the criteria for the next hire. If it's 20 and 40, pain is not in there. Now, what if pain affects your range of motion? Then that's different. Okay. So that's why it's important to be educated. All right. Can you talk about obesity as an intermediate step to obstructive sleep apnea? We would have to do that offline. Again, the video I did, the first step, 5 ways of service connection. Where does it fall? How are you claiming it? Pre-service aggravation, direct, secondary, increase, presumptive. I've seen doctors say that obstructive sleep apnea is not due to service. The veteran is, obese, or, due to the veteran being overweight. Okay. Sorry, I forgot the fact. Okay. It's that time. What do you need to prove to submit a claim for chronic fatigue syndrome for first Gulf War presumptive service connection? Diagnosis. Do you have a current diagnosis? Do you have a diagnosis of chronic fatigue? Yes, CMP, negative opinion, no acoustic damage. Have a copy of the clearly stated acoustic. I think we just talked about that. Steve, thank you very much. Dwayne, hey, no problem. And I'm popping up a lot of these, and like I stated earlier, trying to go through these, and see a lot of chatter. So I want to make sure I get, everyone's questions answered. So if we could just stick the chatter to the questions, definitely appreciate it. If I use a doctor for a Nexus letter but was denied for service connection, can I use the same Nexus or doctor for another Nexus? That'd be up to you. But again, one, was the Nexus statement completed correctly? And did you need a DBQ? And was the DBQ actionable and sufficient? So you have to understand, do you need a DBQ? Well, be educated on, when do you need a DBQ? And is the DBQ correct? Is it completed correctly? And do you need a Nexus statement? A lot of veterans think, oh, I'm just going to check the fully developed claim box on the 526CZ and get a Nexus statement, but I'm claiming a back condition in service, but I'm not going to submit a DBQ. That makes no sense. Okay. So you have to understand, when do you need both? And two, what goes into making each one actionable and sufficient. We give monthly classes on those. A lot of people don't sign up for them, some do. But we do go a little bit more in depth on that. Okay. I requested my entire military record to be put on CD and was told it would take a year for me to get it. Why would it take so long? I don't know. That's a question I don't know. Like I said, one of my team members, it took 4 months, took me 11. I talked to some veterans and they said it took them, less time. Some took more. I had a client filed a request in December 2019. He just got it about a month ago. Why it takes them so long, I don't know. I can only presume that they're not making it a priority, meaning the VA. If it was a priority, I think it wouldn't take so long. Kirk, anything about SSDI, that's Social Security? I never worked for Social Security, so I can't even begin to answer that question about Social Security. I'm sorry. I'm assuming that's Social Security disability. Yeah, I don't know anything about applying, or I know what Social Security is, but I don't know all the requirements and ins and outs. That's a totally different federal agency besides the VA. Oh, shoot. Trying to go back up and get, okay, there we go. Any new information on getting claims file, call VA, watch December 20th video and still have not received. Should I continue to call VA, watch the 800 number? Now, I'm assuming you're talking about the VA White House hotline. I did a video on that as well, and that's the video you actually saw, because it was taking so long, and I saw that they closed out my claim. I'm like, wait a minute. You're saying that it takes 10 days. There's been 20, and you closed out my claim like over 20 days ago. Then it finally came. And understand, when you call the VA White House hotline, they're just sending that complaint over to the VA. Now, the first time I called and did a complaint, I gave him my email address. Big mistake, because the supervisor emailed me, didn't answer my question, gave me a very vague answer. And then at the bottom of the email, it said, do not respond to this email. And then they gave me the call center, 800-827-1000 call center. How is that VSR, that call center, going to know anything about what I'm trying to do? They're not decision makers. They just answer the phone. That's it. But a lot of people call and say, oh, they told me this at the 800 number. They just answer the phone, answering general questions. They don't rate. They're not RVSRs. They're not DROs. They don't know what those RVSRs or DROs need. So I don't know. I don't understand why a lot of people put a lot of faith in that. But nonetheless, it would say call that number. And I was like, you know what? Next time, I'm not giving them my email address. I didn't. A supervisor called me and I said, hey, I shouldn't have to wait another 11 months because I didn't get this in the mail. That same day it came. I guess it was just the mail was bagged up because of the holidays and COVID. Then 2 weeks later, I got another CD from the complaint about a week and a half. Yeah, about a week and a half later. Okay. But the important thing, that supervisor called me because I didn't give him my email address. I said, I want to call, I want to talk to somebody. And they were really nice. Heard veterans getting supervisors that are horrible. But some of the ones that I've talked to are really nice. And they really show the eye care values and really advocates for the vet. Okay. I have 8 separate 0% rating conditions that will be filed an increase for. Do you recommend putting them all in the same claim at the same time or break them up into separate claims? For me, it'll be up to you. Some people, I don't know why they think that you have to break it up. I think that's a YouTube myth. I've seen veterans claim up to 60 conditions at one time. They didn't, Rater still has to rate it, so I don't know where they're getting it from. But me, I broke mine up not because I wanted to, or just things came up and I was like, oh man, I can claim that. No, I can claim that. And this came up at different times. But if I'd have had everything, if I knew everything that I wanted to claim, like I explained in that step 1 video that people can go back and look, I would have claimed everything at one time. That's me. That would be up to you, 503. I have a routine future exam coming up, but it's been over 5 years. Can they reduce it? They will need 2 exams to reduce me if it means I have to be reduced by evidence. They need on a routine future. I would have to go back and look. I don't think they need 2 exams. I would have to research that. I don't think if it's a routine future, I don't think they need 2 exams after 5 years. I could be wrong, but Mr. Murray, I'm sorry, D. Murray, I would have to research that. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. Mr. Brown, you're definitely welcome. Just got an email from Victor Williams. If you're in here, ask the question again. I'm trying to get through these in a timely manner. I'm a little bit over an hour, so I'm going to do about another 5 minutes. But I did get your email. Ron, I submitted a higher rating for my migraines, which was deferred with no rating. After CMP exam was given 30%, where it was still at 90%. Total is, could this be considered a CUE? Based off that information, I can't say, I'll have to review the rating decision. I get questions like that often, and I just respond with more information needs to be reviewed. But also understand what a CUE is, okay? I'm just trying to get through some of these. I did ask Jedi some questions. I'm just trying to go through to see if they answered it. It looks like they're no longer here. They said that they were a drove, so I did ask the questions, but it appears that they jumped out. So if anybody sees that individual somewhere else on the internet, ask him those questions, him or her. I would like to know. Gun guy, I finally got my claims file. 10 months it took. Thankful to have it. It's already helped me within a week of receiving it. So again, it took me 11 months, took gun guy 10 months, but a lot of people are not requesting it. They'll say, I'm going to do a high level review, but I haven't requested my claims file. Good luck with that. Yeah. G, I've been waiting on claims file since March 2021. As you can see, it took gun guy 10 months, took me 11. So I wish I could provide a better answer. Let's see. There's a lot of questions in here tonight, everyone. You said, Ms. Thompson, Ms. Kimmel, can I promote a show going on at 8 p.m. tonight? Which veterans with PTSD may find? Sure. Yeah, go ahead. Put it in the chat window if you don't mind. Or just send it here and I'll post it if it's a YouTube or whatever. Yeah. The way my brother had an IMO. Please tell me what IMO is. I know what the nexus statement is that was written by a doctor that is a Navy vet now in private practice. A DBQ is not required. 100% it's the language. Okay. Yeah, depending, like I say, everybody's claim is different. If that IMO had evidence in there to grant an increase or something, then yeah, you can use that. But I was just saying the majority of the stuff that I've seen, nexus statements or these so-called independent medical opinions, or don't have information there that RVSRs can use to rate. So that's why I'm pushing people to get educated on what information needs to go in it. Mr. Beard, it took 6 years to get 100% PNT. Hey, but you're there. Congratulations. See, Benny says, I am service connect for tonight. Has been experiencing difficulties falling asleep. Falling asleep and waking up middle of the night, which I feel is due to my tinnitus. Is they likely to get this secondary service connect? You just have to file a claim and see. But again, if you get to the CMP exam, how do you reasonably articulate your symptomology as to why the sleep apnea is affected by your tinnitus? And then the doctor is going to have to provide that nexus, that medical opinion. Okay. Iris says, I requested my C file on September of 2020, received it about 2 weeks ago. Wow. Again, another long time. Mr. Nelson says, White House line got my brother a new CMP exam within a week. Dwayne, please stop saying the White House number does not work. My brother is 100% permanent total because of the White House. Okay, Mr. Nelson, let me tell you something. I did not say it doesn't work. What I said was, when I file my complaint, they take the complaint. That's all they do. They take the complaint and they send it to the VA. Okay, so I did not say that. So everybody on here, I'm telling you, I did not say the White House hotline does not work. If you looked at any of my other YouTube videos, I go into somewhat detail of how it worked for me. And so I'm trying in those videos educate people when they do call the VA White House hotline. So what I'm saying is, my first complaint, I provided an email address, and they emailed me, and it was a vague answer, and it wasn't anything that close to what I was filing a complaint about. So I'm not saying that it doesn't work. All the times I'll call, I've actually got a supervisor from the VA, whether it be VBA or VHA, and there was some resolution. So if you look at some of my other videos where I talk about that, I did. So please do not say I said something I didn't say, because then that's going to confuse people. I didn't say it didn't work, but you have to be methodical and educated when you call them. What is your complaint? I'm just saying, when they email you, anybody can put anything in email. I'm glad that it helped your brother get another CMP exam. But again, that was one of those instances where it worked. For me, the first one, it did work. I did get a response. It wasn't an answer to my question. So I had to turn around and do another complaint. And then that's when they called me, and I did find some resolution. So I do talk about that in my other videos. Please feel free to rebuttal if you want to. Redbone, yes, you can. Okay. I understand you know what you were talking about, but I think you need new information. Yeah, it's changed. No, I don't think it's changed, because I talk to veterans on a daily basis. I think, well, depending on what you're talking about, that's changed in the VA. I think the wait times for rating decisions have come down tremendously. There are some things, and like I said, I'm not bashing the VA. I'm not saying that it's all bad. Do they have some things to work on? Yeah, but all companies do. I'm merely sharing some of my old personal experiences, some of the current experiences that some of my clients are telling me, and a lot of veterans are saying on this, on this chat window. So obviously, there's some frustration there from veterans, because they're saying it. It's not me. I'm bringing up the questions, and they're saying what issues they have. Yeah. Yeah, it's that time. Thank you. His videos recommend calling VA White House to complain. Not to complain, but it's a complaint. So when you file a complaint, understand whether you file a complaint, and also think about what you would like the resolution to be. So if you do get a phone call from a VSR, RVSR, whoever, you can reasonably articulate your complaint and say, hey, well, per this 38 CFR, I should have at least been given a CMP exam because I was treated in service. I have a current diagnosis, and at least give me an opportunity to go to a CMP exam and explain what it is, and I can get a nexus statement. Okay. Mr. Nelson. No, hey, no problem, man. That's why we're here. And our motto is, leave no vet behind. We have to have those conversations because who's going to be we got to educate each other. So, I didn't mean to, like I was coming off like I was upset. We have to have those conversations. Once we talk through them, we can understand each other and get it. So, hey, not a problem, man. First Art. I see. Okay, Mr. Nelson, First Art. And I got a question, Mr. Nelson. Do the Marines do they still say gunny? I'm curious. I was watching Heartbreak Ridge the other day, and they kept saying gunny. Thanks. I think we are on the same track now. The only point I was trying to make is that there are some doctors who know how to write. And you know what? You are correct. There are some, but there's a lot that don't. But most importantly, veterans don't know. They think, I've heard veterans spending like up to like $2,000 for these nexus statements, and they're incorrect. So veterans have to be educated on to make sure they're paying that amount of money and they get it back. Is that nexus statement good? And do they need it? Because I've seen veterans pay $1,800 for a nexus statement, Mr. Nelson. And guess what? They were already service connected. They just needed an increase. And nothing in that nexus statement was part of the criteria for the increase. So they have to be educated on that. And that's what we're talking about here tonight. Mr. Mitchell, I just received 100% permanent total, but the effective date is 2 months before a VA decision I filed years ago. How do you challenge the effective date? One quick thing I can say about that. When you get denied, you got 1 year to appeal. 365 days from date of notification, the date on the notification letter. Not on the rating decision, the notification letter. If you let those 365 days lapse and you come back in a year later, 30 years later, then it goes from either intent to file, data claim, or fax found, or something like that. Okay. Man, okay. I think that's the last question. So, a lot of good questions. I had a couple of questions for it claims Jedi Master, but they dipped out. So if anybody sees that individual, ask them some questions. Say, hey, as a DRO, they said that they were DRO. Ask them what their quota is. Ask them why VSRs are scheduling exams when veterans submit actionable DBQs and nexus statements. Got it. 503, thanks for your help. Hey, not a problem. Mr. Wooden says, if you already have a claim in for, I'm thinking it's sinusitis, does a new presumptive automatically apply? Mr. Wooden, I haven't really, it should, but I haven't really looked in detail about that new presumptive. I'm assuming you're talking about the allergic rhinitis and sinusitis due to Gulf War, burn pit, particular matter or something like that. That's something that I have to dig into and do some research. It came out. I just hadn't had the time. And so for a lot of you that know me, when I do my YouTube videos and you see that I posted post a slide, I've actually went into the M21 and 38 CFR and done some research. I've just been so busy with some new employees, more clients. I just haven't had the time to get around to doing that. So I do apologize, Mr. Wooden. I can't provide you an answer. I would say so, but I'm not confident in that answer. Okay. Mr. Mitchell, do I file a high-level review? I think the other question you stated, I just received 100%. I think this is it. I just received 100% permanent total disability, but effectively, you can. That would be up to you. But again, one of the things that we as vets have to understand, when I got my rating decision, I sat down, got the rating decision. I sat down, I read it. I read it a second time, put it to the side, came back the next day, and I read it again. And I said, okay, this is an error. Why did they grant this effective date? Why did they grant that effective date? Me and my colleagues, we review a lot of rating decisions for individuals, and we provide a report. And in that report, we'll say, well, hey, this is what we see. This is, the effective date they gave. This is why they gave it. we don't see why they gave this effective date opposed to this. Now, I'm not saying that we're right. We're just going off the evidence that we review. Then it's up to you to say, okay, this is how I want to proceed. And we may throw some regulations in there to support that, something that they didn't do. But yeah, it would be up to you. But again, know why you're doing a high level review. Thanks for the dedication to serve others. Ain't not a problem. Thank everybody for their service. Is our static conditions in your C file? Yes, it's on the rating code sheet. So, gun guy, if you go through, and it should be, look at the rating decision, and then I'm gonna do a video on what a rating code sheet looks like. And so, if I open up, and for those of you that came in late, I have a live event, in-person event here in Tampa, Florida, August 21st from 9 a.m. to noon. A lot of you know Florida is a hot spot for COVID right now. Things are, ticking up. So it may not be in person. I may have to cancel in person and go do it online, like video, like we are now. So by the next time I post a YouTube video, I'm going to talk about it in there, but check back on our website, okay? Because I'm going to change it to in-person, to virtual or online, and wherever you're at, you could sign up. It'll be 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. noon Eastern Standard Time, and we'll leave some time, allocate some time for questions. What are the applicable fees to request your C file? When you request a C file, you don't pay anything. You just submit the request. Now, and in all my YouTube videos, at least the ones from this year, I put verbatim how I got my C file. So Gun Guy just said, yeah, Benny's C file is free. Yeah, you don't have to pay for that. Yeah, I don't know which form. I just use the standard VA form 21-4138. And I don't know, if you put it on a 526EZ, does that make it faster? I don't know. So yeah, when people share, hey, I submitted a claim, submitted a request for my claims file, share what form you submitted on. Okay. All right. So we're going to shut it down from there. Let's see. Yeah, on the fly design, 4138, VA form 21-4138. That's what I used. So we're going to shut it down from now. We got 71 people here. Hey, everybody go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the notification button. Please share this video. And let me know if you want me to do these. I normally do them once a month, but let me know if you want me to do these a little bit more often. We can just do a Q&A. If I do them more often, and probably definitely keep them around 30 minutes. We're about 15 minutes over today. But, I'm sorry. Yeah, Benny says, thank you. Okay. So, yeah, just let me know if you want to do it. Again, want me to do these a little bit more often. Ron says, then simplify. Okay. Yeah, Miss Nelson, does the Marines still say gunny? Gun guy says good night. Ron says do more often. Okay. Sailor Moon, you skipped me. Go ahead and post that question right now. Must have missed it. Like I was saying, there was a lot of chat going on, so I was trying to keep up with that. So yeah, Sailor Moon, go ahead and answer that, and I'll try and stick around for like a couple of minutes until you typed it in. Once a week. Once a week. I don't know if I do it once a week. How about like once every 2 weeks or something like that? Mr. Freeze say simplify. Whoop whoop. Yes, they do, as a term of endearment. Yep. Hey, Gunny. Sailor Moon, I'm still waiting. Yes, they do. Okay. Definitely do more videos as often as you can. I try to do one once a week, Gun Guy. It's just things have been getting a lot busy for us here at KMD 89. Brought on a couple more employees. We have a lot of stuff. If you go to Facebook and look for us on Facebook, go to just type in, not this is the old banner, but if you go to Facebook, and I'll put it here in the tell you what, I'll pull up the group or the business page, if you will. I can find it. Where are you at? Oh shoot. There we go. VA Disability Service Connection is the group, and I'll put this in the business page in the chat for everyone. Sailor Moon, I haven't got you. I do see it. You will be the last question. So that's the Facebook business page, and now I'm going to put the Facebook veteran group. Okay, so make sure you follow me on Facebook, find me on Instagram, Twitter, a lot of posts. Okay, so Elizabeth says, good night. Blessings to all. Thank you. Okay, Sailor Moon, I'm going to go up. You say, how do you increase a 0%? Okay, like I stated earlier, in the description section of most of my videos, I list how I got a copy of the disability breakdown letter. And on that disability breakdown letter, it lists everything you service connected for, the percentage, and the diagnostic code. When you Google that diagnostic code, it'll tell you the next higher all the way up to 100% if that condition has 100%. If it goes up to 100%. But also being able to reasonably articulate your symptomology if you go to the CMP exam as it pertains to if you deserve you should be 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, or whatever. Okay. But knowing what the next higher criteria is, the rating decision will tell you whatever you got granted at 0%, they're supposed to tell you the next higher evaluation, the criteria for that. Okay, that's where you can find it. Ms. Dunn said, oh, by the way, I served in the Army. Marine Corps. I was stationed in Fort Hood, Texas, 57 Signal Battalion in 2006. Retired from. Yep, I was stationed there at Fort Hood too. I was in the 1st Battalion, 82nd Field Artillery, 1st Cavalry Division. Then once I got promoted to E6, I went to take over the battalion FDC Chief Section for the 2nd Battalion, 82nd Field Artillery, 1st Cavalry Division. Okay, cool. Intent to file an increase. Well, those are two different things. Intent to file is you just putting the VA on notice that you're intending to file a claim. You got 365 days to submit a claim on a prescribed form. An increase is your service connected and you feel the condition has gotten worse. It's been 15 years. You can do an increase at any time. Okay. I think, I just explained that, Sailor. How do I increase a 15-year-old with 0%? Do you meet the criteria? Intent to file, just explain that. So hopefully I answered. I know some questions I didn't. Okay, one last one. It's that time. You skipped my last question, sir. Go ahead and type it. This is the last question of the night. If you can type that in real quick. I'll just sit here and wait on that. Like I said, I was trying to have people to keep the chatter down a little bit so I can make sure I looked at I found a lot of the questions. You're welcome, Sailor Moon. So I can have time to go through and get these questions. So I do apologize if I skip, but that's why I was saying that, everyone can keep the chatter down a little bit and just post the questions. That makes it a little bit easier on my side. Don't know if you're still in here. It's that time. Just scroll back up. Okay, here we go. Does the VA have to give you an exam to reduce your 100% PTSD and PNT? There could be a lot of reasons as to why they will be requesting another exam if you're already 100% PNT. I know I was 100% PNT and I still filed some claims for increases and other stuff. But Man, it depends on, if it was fraud, then they may, follow their guidelines as it pertains to fraud. But if you're 100% P&T, I don't know why they would be going back and looking at, everything. Okay. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, the V had to give you an exam to reduce P&T as well. Depends on why they trying to reduce you. Yeah, that's kind of hard. Again, because every claim is different. So unless I'm looking at something, it's kind of hard to. Yeah, okay, exempt from fraud. Yeah, the next question would be, why would they be even scheduling an exam if you're 100% P&T? Okay. All right. Last question, I promise. Uh, do they view entry level discharges claims differently than other claims? Having a EOD, should only one claim be submitted or 5 that needs to be? It'll be up to you how many you want to submit. But I mean, that would be up to you. I think my first claim, I filed like 15, 23 different conditions. Yeah. Yeah, Elizabeth, you are correct. But getting 60 or 80 people to do that, I don't have control, but that is a good suggestion. I definitely appreciate that. Okay. Uh, yeah. Also, letter said no future exam, so I don't know why they would be scheduling another exam if you're already 100% P&T. Yeah, that sounds suspect. I'm 100% P&T. If they request an exam for me, I definitely wouldn't go until they said why. But just out of the blue, yeah, uh, that's weird. Okay, so hey, with that being said, again, we have a live in-person event on August 21st here in Tampa, Florida, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. noon. We don't know if that event is going to be a go for in-person just due to the uptick of the COVID cases here in Florida. If not, I will let all the subscribers know. I'll put it on Facebook. Make sure you I'll put the links to the Facebook Veterans Group, the Facebook business page, also on YouTube. I'll maybe do just a short video and say, hey, go ahead and sign up. I'm going to do it. Transition from in-person to online, depending on the number of people. If it is in person, I'll probably only have like 10 seats so we could sort of sit apart. So just don't want to, expose or do a big event and, it cause issues or somebody gets sick. Um, but yeah, be on the lookout for that. But that training is normally $250. I'm doing it for free. Okay. A lot of people go to some of my clients in the past that took it. A lot of people say, hey man, that helped me just at seminar alone, just helped me get me over the hump. Okay. So definitely if I keep, look at our website, keep that in mind. Also, again, be on the lookout on the YouTube. So, hey, I definitely appreciate everybody. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, hit that notification button. And also, whenever I go live, I like to do notification like, 2 days prior, so everybody can know when I'm going live. And maybe one day I'll just do like maybe a 30-minute just for questions. Okay. So with that being said, hey, thank everybody for the service. Thank you for joining in tonight. I know you had a choice to be somewhere else, but you decided to spend it with me. Please leave some comments in the comment section. If I didn't get to your question, I do apologize, but I'll definitely get around to it next time. All right. So take care, and I'll see everybody in my next educational video. Thank you. Good night.